I am so honored today to be with gold medalist, 1968 gold medalist, athletic and civil rights icon, Mr. Tommie Smith. And Tommie Smith, thank you for being with us today. I am so looking forward to this conversation. The opportunity to talk to you is a joy, and let's dive right in.
Very good. Very happy to be here, Doctor, and all the
Ab-
work has been put in. I understand that. So we can go. Yes,
Absolutely.
indeed.
Absolutely. So, one of the things that's so beautiful about what you have represented in your career is this amazing intersection between sports and society. We all are familiar with that iconic pose with you standing on the podium in Mexico City in 1968 with your fist raised. But I'm not sure everybody had a good glimpse at your feet. Could you share a little bit about why you were barefooted at the same time your fist was raised with that black glove on it?
There were certain distinction and connotations that a lot of people didn't recognize. The recognition of the bare feet was poverty that Black people had to go through during those days just to make a step. And those steps were not a safe step, but they were stepped in society that was very necessary. And I took it personally because of my juncture in sport to make as possible to indicate the need for society to understand the poverty that we had gone through, and didn't have time to talk, Doctor, but I had the opportunity and the blessing to show, and maybe I had a chance to discover a way to impose the necessary explanation. And here it is, represented poverty and the ongoing necessity to become part of a living society of freedom.
And a powerful statement it was. And here in Memphis at the National Civil Rights Museum, we obviously connect deeply with the statement you were trying to make, and certainly just the reminder that this is on the heels of Dr. King's assassination on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel where we reside, and the Poor People's Campaign that followed thereafter. And so just that connection, that thoughtfulness that you had, that courage that you displayed is certainly inspiring. Can you speak to how your career unfolded after the Olympics of 1968? How did you choose to continue the kind of work and conscious-oriented work that was to follow?
At that age, in college, had not graduated yet. I knew there was a lot of things put on the back burner, hoping that I would graduate after the Olympic Games. Now, understand, people, it was the Olympic project for human rights.
Yes.
Human rights is the main force of going on. Since being a Black athlete, and a lot of things happened. You just mentioned a few moments ago, Dr. King, Malcolm X, and the presidency at that particular time was also taken to its last steps. We thought, as a group, it was necessary for the athletes to stand up for a cause. We didn't have a platform while running, only the beginning and the finish line. We didn't have time to talk. In fact, they would not let us talk. So it was very important, Doctor, for the Black athlete to stand up for civil rights, human rights, and the beckoning of love and freedom, which we did not have in the system because most of us was taken to the next life. We were killed. And so we needed a platform. The only platform that I had was the Olympic Games. And it wasn't a degraded form of explanation. It was quiet. It was nonviolent, and it was very suggestive that things that was needed doing. You mentioned earlier the bare feet, the bowed head in prayer, the raised fist in power, and freedom. And so this is what we wanted to bring to the United States, to our people, that here we are, young 23, 24-year-old athletes begging for your participation and the courage to help us move forward. We have kids watching these things and they thought it was a negative. It was very positive what we did, because now you, the young athletes, have the chance to stand up. Though you're not on the victory stand, but you are on the stand of life. And we want you to understand that you have a responsibility, as well as we did, to be proud, to be anxious to share your life in freedom. And here we are.
Thank you, sir. That is a profound. Those are profound words, and it's important for all of us to make these connections, not just the intersection between race and sports, but over eras. Right? We're talking about more than 50 years ago, and
yes, indeed.
How do, as someone who has had the tremendous experiences as you have had, how do you make sense and meaning of those fundamental principles you just spoke to from yesteryear to today? So the juxtaposition, if you will, between 1968 and this 2024 era.
Just as we have gone from pencil to computer, no big difference in from my life and their life, only a change in the way things are being done, which is much faster. And we now have a proportion of need for them to understand there is a movement, there has been a movement, there is an ongoing movement of change. The only thing we had then was a sports field, but we wanted to bring that sports field to the identity of life as we live it. Be thankful. Think that you're honorable. Believe that and move forward with the newness of life, because we sacrificed, and hopefully that sacrifice would have a proportion in life to move the young life forward. I was 23, going on 24. In fact, I was 24, born in 1944, to move forward to 2024, 80 years old, talking the same thing, because it is life. Then and now, connected through athletics. And there are those who believe that there's no politics in athletics. Well, those brains are old, they're gone. There is politics in everything we do. It's how we handle that power. Young folks, handle that power with dignity, with a force, with love, with the protection with your life, and move on down the line.
Well, your words make me want to anoint you as an honorary staff member at the National Civil Rights Museum, because you sound like the words we try to live by that Dr. King talked about so often: humanity, dignity, respect. You seem to certainly embody that. I know you embody that. I also get the sense that you have you think a lot about the past, and I don't just mean your past. That you have this deep sense of appreciation of those who came before you. Can you speak a little bit about the influences, the people who helped shape and mold you, to give you the courage to do the kind of things you did in 1968 and beyond?
I worked in the labor fields, not only in Texas, where I was born, but in Central California, where I was raised. My mother and my father brought the 12 children up in a sensible manner, as they say, in church, in belief in yourself, and the love that you should have for others. Although it's only a paint can that spread changed colors, but you should be understanding from the other side and view people the same, regardless. Doctor, I taught grammar school, junior high, high school, junior college, and a 4-year college for 33 years. Teaching. Teaching. I mean, with salaries that you would not believe, like starting college teaching at $12,000 a year. I wanted to do that because I had a responsibility, not of money, but of love, of teaching, bringing through. Yeah, everybody's going to have problems. Everybody's going to have a time of work, of pain, even of death. But we're blessed to move on beyond that on this side of the grass to help people move forward in a loving attitude, no matter what the brain is. It's the attitude of your giving. Seeing is believing. If a kid doesn't see it, they can't believe it. They can't understand it. Then they grow up to not only understand, but to speak it as well. We don't ask you to be a slave in terms of word terminology. Be honest in your feeling about saying those words and moving forward. Young folks and older folks and old folks like me, come on, get on this wagon and let's move forward. The horses are not. It is the energy of technology.
Thank you, sir. And being on that wagon is something. There's room on the wagon for all of
Amen.
us, and certainly people like yourself who've made tremendous sacrifices in your lifetime and have witnessed so much. Can you share a little bit about how your relationship with athletes today, and what are some of the images and perceptions and attitudes that stand out to you of athletes that you may encounter today?
Isn't it amazing to me anyway how the freedom of the of verbs and the money, of course, don't forget the money that we didn't make, but they're making now, and what they're doing with it, responsibly doing with it. I'm speaking of, and not only in track and field, not only in football rather, which I played for 3 years, but I still only made $300 a week. That I'm making much more money now. That it's just the attitude. I don't want to get my stuff mixed up here because once I start talking about money, I want to get direct to the point. But let's talk about the things that point can make. You put in the ball and throw it out there. It's the logic of what you do, not necessarily the amount of money. It's the logistics of what you do with that dollar bill. Doing things at a momentous time is more important than taking it and giving it to a situation which doesn't make sense. Young folks, you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. Saving is one thing, the attitude of love is another, and the giving and the spending also is another. A lot of these things tarry in each other to make the spending and the attitude of giving more proportionate to time as it moves on. And we will move on now because you're going to get me in my books, then we'll be here for a while. So let's spend the time talking, not reading.
Oh, I love it. I love it. 1968. I want to go back to 1968. As a 24-year-old, you've just won the gold medal. You're thinking about your future. You're thinking about what's possible. What are some of the most life-fulfilling experiences that you've had in the last 56 years? What are the things that have mattered to you the most?
Number one, my God, of course, always the ruler of my life. But he also gave me a brain to do this, and he would bless me with that. But let's go. Yet the question was, first thing was graduation. You know, society, no matter how smart you are or dumb you are, if that piece of paper says you qualify, then you get a degree. It's from a degree. I wanted to make sure that I got my college degree. It took me 5.5 years. It was sent to me. I was so far away from San Jose State that I couldn't march in the proceeding, so they sent me my diploma. And from that, went on a master's degree. Not saying I'm smart, only what society had me to do so I can move on to my young children. I don't mean my own personal biological children, but kids in general, to be functional in their lives with what society says you need to perform your position in life. So graduation, the educational process, the understanding of others thinking about what I was doing and what they're going to do because I did it, and so forth. But each individual have to have his or her own theological theories of what they want to do and follow those throughout. Don't let people be so concerned. Don't you be so concerned about people and doing their thing. TSYI, Tommie Smith Youth Initiative, was developed by me and my wife early in life to help those young people. It's a nonprofit, and we don't make any money. If we get any donation, we give it back to the kids through educational processes, through promotional. Gee whiz, what's that word called when you
Through
scholarship.
Grants or
Grants,
scholarships? Yeah.
scholarships, yeah. Thank you over there. I got my necessity over in the wall sometimes. But anyway, going on, doctor, it is very necessary for you to have a program so you can help others create a program through the young folks' mind and memory, because this works, but it works manually. We have to have that computer like you and I doing, move things forward, and that's where the young folks are nowadays. So we got to help them with that as well. It's amazing how you can get turned around with a lot of things you want to say, and say two things, and you got to go back and explain what you just said.
Well, no, I can tell you, your words are both wise and clear, and it seems like you have spent, even as a 24-year-old in 1968, you had spent a lot of time thinking about your responsibility and how you were going to make your contributions to make society better, and those lessons were on display then and continue to be now as your life has unfolded. One final question, Mr. Smith. If you were to give some counsel to young people in general, but particularly those who may have sports may be the vehicle where they have channeled a lot of their energies, and potentially their place where their influence can come out, right? Yeah. To your point, it's a tremendous platform to use. What is the piece of advice you would share with all athletes who have a platform for goodness? What would you say to any of those athletes?
Belief in yourself. Belief in yourself, or faith, which is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So you might be working for something that you don't see, but if you really believe that it's going to come to truth and come to fruition, you will have to believe in it, walk with it with a straight spine and not a crooked path. It's going to be subjects of work everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. Just make sure we have a smile on the inside of our body, which reflects our views to the outside, and keep moving forward and do unto others. And everybody have heard this. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. And it's mightiful if you just walk, drive that car in your lane, and don't use any responsive negativity and hit someone else.
Mr. Smith, you sure had your spine straight on that podium in 1968.
Yes, sir.
And you changed the world. And we are forever grateful for your courage, your conviction, your positivity, and your passion. Thank you, Mr. Smith. It's been an honor to spend time with you today.
Thank you all, channels, and good luck, G's.